Hey, Patriots, welcome back to Dee's Daily Breakdown. This is episode number 60. It is April 27th, 2026. And I'm going to hop on here and just do a deeper dive into the reel that I posted on Facebook and Instagram yesterday, which is creating a lot of heat. And I'm going to do my best to clear up at least some of that heat. You know, people can believe what they want to believe, but on my end of things, I don't operate in beliefs. Of course, I believe in God and I believe, all that, but when it comes to this military operation, it's all straight facts. So I had put up a quick snippet of when Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, said shots would be fired. I, like everybody else, know that on the surface, shots will be fired means you're going to do a roast. President Trump would be doing, like hitting people hard with hardcore jokes. Okay, I know that. Okay, that wasn't the point. And when I put up reels, I'm always pointing to the fact that you can never be a surface person with this military operation because you'll miss it every single time. So when I do a reel, I'm coming from that perspective. Okay, I'm coming from the facts. I'm coming from the truth that America has been under military laws and orders probably for about 10 years, but it's been a long time. And our Constitution has been suspended for quite a while. And at this point, I believe we're under a partial suspension, but we're still in that zone of military laws and orders. And military laws and orders are not like constitutional law, okay? Military handles things in a whole different way. And I don't have to have been in the military to know this. I've done this through research and learning. And therefore, what you were watching at the White House Correspondents Dinner is a complete scene from a movie, okay? That is just another scene from the movie. The inauguration this year was a scene from the movie. That is not the real President Trump you're seeing. I don't know about you, but I don't know how grown-ups can actually change height. Sometimes you'll see a taller President Trump. Okay, most likely he's in Cheyenne Mountain or he's in Mar-a-Lago, but you're not seeing the real President Trump. These are all actors. Caroline Leavitt is an actor. Everybody interconnecting with President Trump are actors. And why are they doing this? Because they've taken down the global deep state. And you have to show people, you can't tell them. And of course, I always get frustrated because I try to tell people, but at the end of the day, that's why I also show people, because when I find photos, I show you before and afters that's not the real Netanyahu. I show you proof all the time, and then people still want to clap back and say I don't show any proof. Well, that's because they're somehow in a zombie-like state, and they're not willing to do any kind of research. They're just sitting back and hoping for the best. Well, that's not, in case you haven't noticed, that's not how I operate here. So when Caroline Leavitt said shots will be fired, on the surface, yeah, shots will be fired. President Trump is the best of the best when it comes to going after people, right? But you have to look below the surface. That's not what she meant, underneath the surface, okay? Because this entire operation has to do with critical thinking and going underneath the surface. You are to take nothing at surface value when it comes to this sting operation. It is the greatest sting operation in world history. It's the global takedown of the deep state. And when they've taken down the cabal, which they have for the most part, maybe they've completed the operation or they're still working on parts of it, when you're taking down a global network across the world, global, of course, you'll use any tactics you need to get the job done. So there is a 60,000-man secret army on all levels who are acting out and running the show. They're creating the protests that you've been seeing. They're called White Hats, are military. They're running the narratives on all the media, both sides, and they're in control of all the narratives. So that's that, and that's your truth. So when she said that, yes, again, I'm going to say it again. I know that on the surface, that's what that means. But I'm not somebody who looks on the surface. I never do. I go below the surface. And if you're somebody that wants to choose to stay on the surface, then you'll always be like that, and you'll always want to clap back and say nasty things and throw insults at me because you can't handle the fact that I'm telling you the truth. And then I'm going to tie that in with when President Trump, there's so many tie-ins to this, but I'm going to focus in on what Caroline Leavitt said. And then also when President Trump posted that night at 9:17 p.m., feel free to look that up. And notice it's the number 17 again, because the military operation is called Q, and that was not a mistake. There's so many mathematical things that are going on here. It's not mathematically possible for this to be not real. Okay, so he posted in caps, "Let the show go on." He's emphasizing in caps, and he's showing you the word show in caps for a reason. He's trying to tell you, like he says, when he says central casting a gazillion times, he's trying to tell you that you're watching people wearing masks, actors, artificial intelligence. You are seeing a movie. This is not the actual President Trump. These people are not, they're not who you think they are. They are actors. And if you want to understand why they're doing it, I've done my very best to explain that on my podcast. And in future podcasts, I'll be happy to continue to try to help you see why they're doing what they're doing. But that was my point of the reel. And if after hearing this, you still want to stay on it just shows me who you are as a person. You are refusing to go do the actual research that I have done for many years to learn about this military operation. Okay, so that's that. And if this has helped you, could you do me a favor and please send this out to others who need to hear this? Please hit follow on here in Apple Podcasts. You can give a rating here. You can give a rating on Apple Podcasts. And I would really appreciate that. And subscriptions are live. That's where I go do much deeper dives on a bunch of topics in these realms, as well as things on my personal side. Okay, until next time, this is D for Liberty on Instagram and Facebook. God bless you.